Council meeting Monday, actually Tuesday, October 13th at 2:20. If we could have a roll call, please.
Yes. Ben Twitchell.
Yes.
Jerry Quirian.
Yes.
Steve Russell.
Yes.
Patricia Ayer.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes. If we could rise and please recite the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll face Haley if it's okay with you, Haley. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. So moved. There were no minutes of the previous meeting yet, but they will be soon. Communications, Paul?
The only thing that I have that's on my meeting I just wanted to bring up is this Saturday is our hazardous waste collection at Public Works. People still have the time to register. Please register between now and Friday, 8 to 12. And on my monthly report, I had mentioned a interim financing from Bangor Savings, and it didn't get on the agenda this month. It'll have to be in November. It was my mistake. It didn't get onto the agenda when Lisa made it, so that's all I really have. Everything else is on the agenda.
Reports of committees and commissions. Paul, do you have anything on your town manager report you would like to say?
No, that's what I had here for as far as town manager's report.
Okay. So one of the things I did read on it was the Orion rope that...
Yes. It sounds optimistic. One of the new owners was actually in a couple weeks ago. They finally let him cross the border. They're very encouraged with what they have here. I think right now they're running 3 shifts. And they're looking to expand the business, and when I brought up the idea of them purchasing it, they're not opposed to the idea. They are either they purchase it or they go with a long-term lease like was originally proposed before I came on. So I set them up with the realtor, Mr. Plord, and left it in their hands, and hopefully something comes of it. They definitely want to keep expanding in Winslow. They're very happy where they are. They're trying to grow the business to 2nd or 3rd in the country. I guess they're really optimistic. They're a big company, and they like what they have. So
definitely a very positive development.
Absolutely.
In that area at this point in time, considering what we'll face in the next couple of years. Can I have a motion, please, to accept all reports? Second. All those in favor, please, right hand. Opposed? We'll now move into the public comment section of the meeting. People that would like to come up to the mic, just state their name and where they live, and you have 2 minutes. During the public comment section, we don't have any interaction with the council or with the audience, and you have 2 minutes. And if anybody would like to do a public comment right now, please come on up to the mic.
Hi, my name is Tony Bernard. I live on 22 Frankwood Drive. We've lived there since 1995. We raised our family here in Winslow, and we're happy we made that decision. First, I want to thank you guys for your service, okay? It's not easy to do, and I want to thank you very much. I'm a property owner and a butter to a proposed solar farm on the south side of Roderick Road and the west side of Frankwood Drive. I'm looking for more information to help me make an informed decision about this project, whether I should oppose it or be for it. Sunday, September 27th, I visited 23 of my fellow abutting property owners and neighbors and provided them with a handout of information that I had acquired at that point in time. Since then, on about October 6th, Daniel, a senior director of land development from Next Grid, emailed me and provided me with some preliminary information about this. I'm asking you folks here as town representatives to help me and fellow landowners and property owners to get information to make a well-informed decision. One observation I have is someone's investing a lot of money in clearing the land already, okay? That's not a cheap feat. My direct inquiry is flooding in the immediate area concerning the backyard of my house. When we have a rainstorm, I have a raised bed that's about 18 inches, and oftentimes every year it's covered with water, okay? So we're not talking about 2 inches. I can provide pictures of that if you'd like. Where is the stormwater runoff going right now on this cleared land? That's a question that I have. It's like 24 acres of land. We should understand where that's going to go. With the previous proposed development there was going to be streets and have stormwater catch basins, which would have removed this water, but now it's all just flooding down towards my property. There needs to be some type of stormwater runoff taken to collect this water, and that needs to happen soon, because, like I said, before it was flooding our backyard. Actually thinking of it, I think there's no environmental controls around this construction area, and that may probably pose some environmental protection issues that should be addressed. And this could be a willful neglect of environmental controls for this person. Side note, on the previous development that was submitted to the town, this area was indicated as wetlands, so that might be another consideration. I just got another couple bullets here. Another thing I have for a question is, can this proposed project have a negative impact on our property values in that immediate area? I have information that tends to lead to that conclusion. Noise concerns, whether during the installation or operation. Decommissioning of the project, that should be considered in the approval process. And from some preliminary information I've obtained, there are some other bigger concerns that I'm not even addressing here for other property owners that I'll be glad to talk to you about later. These are my preliminary concerns, so I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tony. Any other comments, public comments? Yep. Yep.
Hi, my name is Robert Fenton. I live in Waterville. I have 5 properties in Winslow. One of them is out on South Pond Road that leads to my backland out towards Maple Ridge Road, where the Conant Farm is, and that land is being proposed for sale, which I've been trying to buy for a while. So now that it's finally coming up, I found out that it's being sold off as one parcel, 103 acres, instead of the 3 parcels the way that it's set up now on the tax map. Really, I was only interested in the woodland. It's the woodland that was cut off 3 years ago by the town. The part that is out by the Maple Ridge Road is the fields, and they want this to be remain in some type of farm trust. I have maps of all of this stuff to show you with the overlays and all of that. I'm hoping that I can get you to consider to break up the parcels so that the woodland doesn't have to be classified under this farm. The farm sale or whatever, the farmland sale. I mean, I can understand why you would want the fields to be that way, but if the whole parcel is there, then I don't have as much interest, because now I'm really being controlled as far as what you can do. You can't do, basically you just got to hay it or put cows on it. When I talked to the guy, let's see his name, Chris Franklin, from the Maine Farmland Trust, it was hard to read him as far as what the restrictions are, but it sounded like a lot, and there really isn't even a list that tells you what you can do and what you can't do. That makes it really hard for me to want a property, because I don't even know what I'm going to be, how much they're going to suppress me or whatever. You can't build a house if it's in the farmland. You can build a barn. I don't want to develop it, but I'd like to give a couple of house lots to my kids. So when the topic comes up, if you could look at these maps maybe and I don't know, maybe look at it a different way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other public comments? That want to make a public comment? What we can do, if somebody that has commented already would like to leave, or you can definitely stay at the meeting you want, but if there's, I'm just asking, so that, or somebody could leave temporarily, and then somebody could come in during the public comment section. I think that would be, maybe that would be the best. We can do one-to-one, right? And they can come in public comment, and then they can leave if somebody would volunteer for that too. They can stay at the meeting, but.
Man, this is a cluster. This is such a cluster. He goes, it's my constitutional right to talk to you. You counselor said, don't worry. Oh my. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's him.
We're doing the public comment. Are you coming in for public comment?
Yes, sir.
Then if you could go up to the microphone, and you have 2 minutes. And just to go over public comment, it's not to, we don't interact with the public comment, nor in the audience either. You have 2 minutes?
Sure. I'm here for the Marie Street issue that most of you know about. Met with you guys about a week ago. There's, 6, 7 more people outside that are here for the same reason, some kind of representing all of us, but it's just to take another look at where you guys have decided to rezone the lot there behind Marie Street. Basically, I think Marcia was recently given another piece of paper indicating that the lot that they were trying to change to mixed use is now a smaller portion of that lot. That's not what we discussed at the last meeting, and all of us are still opposed to changing any of that lot to a mixed use space.
Yep.
So I guess basically that's it. I mean, I think most of you are familiar and have taken the time to come out to talk to us, so.
Yep.
So that's it.
If you would like to go out, and if somebody else wants to come in and talk about that issue,
Sure.
that's fine with me,
Yeah, that
too.
would be
It's
great.
just, we've got a restriction right now, but if they could hurry through,
Yep.
that would be great.
Thank
Just
you.
so.
Alright, you get somebody else? You get somebody else?
He's not wearing a mask. I'm gonna social distance.
I knew that was going to happen.
Am I up?
Yes.
So I'm, again, Ben Stafford. I live on the end of Lee Street. It's a mystery as to what's been discussed already because I can't come in, and I understand the space and all, but we're talking about it. I just want to reiterate that I think it's wrong for that area to be rezoned anything but residential. Zoning is done to give people peace of mind or a understanding about what land is going to be used for, and to sort of just summarily turn it over when it's sort of been promised the zoning as residential, really defeats the purpose of zoning in the first place. So again, I'd ask the town council to not rezone it, keep it residential, keep it what it's been zoned for. I don't think we're getting a clear picture of what's going on, and we're beholden, to someone else making decisions that affect where we live. So, Come to my house with it? I probably could have spoken more had I had some time in here to listen to what was going on, but
In all due respect, the public comment section is at the beginning of the meeting, so we have not discussed that rezoning yet,
oh,
okay?
so I kind of just speaking, okay, so, well, I had a chance to come in, so I wanted to say my piece about that.
Yep.
So I hope that people really take that to heart, that I think it's just plain wrong to change it up on the people that live around there.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And if you could, I'm going to have a few more people that want to make public comment come in, because I know that's an issue.
Yep.
I know they've been waiting, and I know that they want to come in, so if you could leave and just have somebody else
Yeah,
come in, that would
I
be,
appreciate
that would be
that.
great. Thank you.
Oh, Eric is here.
Find her a chair.
Hey.
Okay. Well,
Else coming in?
you're up, Marcia. That's the microphone. Oh, yeah, yeah, I get it. That's okay. Take your time.
So I suppose you all know where I stand on this matter from the emails that I've sent. Many of you have responded and listened, and I completely appreciate that. First of all, I'd say believe that no mixed use should go back there. But we did have the council workshop last week, and there was discussion of a contracted area, which at the end of the meeting, all of the people, including people not abutting the land from the neighborhood, felt that that would be a good solution. I then received a map of the new proposed area, which still continues to lock my house into mixed-use land. I bought in a neighborhood. I feel like it should stay a neighborhood. In the application to the board for mixed use, it talked about housing couldn't go back there because it was cost prohibitive for the sewer. But in the original plan that was submitted to the planning board, there was sewer and water lines running from Marie Street completely to the back lot. I don't know if anybody's been able to look at those. If you look at the town map, it is a sea of orange. There are 2 neighborhoods left in this town that are true neighborhoods: Smalley Acres and Dunbar Acres. And if you look over the years at the lots that have become mixed use, you are crushing the neighborhoods. And my famous thing now is, on the website, it says, "Welcome to Winslow, one of the 10 happiest places to live in Maine." People come here for the neighborhoods. There's plenty of mixed-use land that could still be developed and make a tax base. Just keep crushing the neighborhoods. It's going to be a welcome to Winslow, land of the mixed use. I don't think that's going to draw a lot of people. So, anybody have questions? Anybody need to see the maps that I'm referring to if you haven't been able to see them previously?
One of the rules for, unfortunately, is that we can't ask questions. It's just a comment section for
Okay.
the,
And so-
but during the discussion phase, you know, we will have those discussions during the.
And people have the copy of the original submission to the planning board and the now submitted stuff, the more recently.
I don't know what people have. All I know is what I have, and I do have that here.
Okay. I mean, I think it's important that the council people have that to look at to make a really
Yep.
good, educated decision. And again, I thank everybody for their time. I know I'm a little bit of a bulldog about it, but I think anybody in my situation would be a bulldog too.
Yep.
So,
Thank
all right?
you very
so
much. If there's other people that want a public comment, just have them come in. Maybe, Maybe I should go out and just say, it's public comment, if you want to have public comment. Yeah. Clarify it to
Yep.
them, just so.
I'm not good talking in front of a bunch of people. But last week when we had our meeting, I don't know where everybody is, I thought we were under agreement for a certain parcel of land to be made mixed use. And just found out again this week that it's going to be the whole parcel of land. I don't want my neighborhood to be mixed use. That's it, really.
Okay.
They send more people in?
Yes, and somebody, if there's other people that want to speak, yes, for sure. Do we want to limit, or do we want?
No, I mean-
Public comment, I can't really, I gotta,
It's not the whole parcel though, correct?
Hmm?
It's not the whole parcel.
we can discuss that after, when
Okay.
we get to the,
Well, I
it's-
just-
it's next on the agenda, so
Okay.
I just want to get through the public, sorry, Trish, but I
No,
want to
it's
get
fine.
through the public.
No, I agree.
Hi, if you could go right up to the microphone, that'd be great, thank you very much. And just state your name and where you live would be great.
Janelle Gath, and I live on Murray Street, and our property abuts the driveway.
Yep.
And in a meeting that we recently had, we discussed the particular piece of property that Steve wanted to become contracted, so the particular garage would be contracted and the remainder of the property would continue as residential. So I'm just hearing a lot of different stories about, is it going to be that, or no, it's going to change to something else. So clarity. I just feel like we've heard a lot of different things, and we'd like to really, everybody seemed to like the idea of the particular piece of property that was going to be for the garage be contracted as multi-use, and in the event that it got sold, it would return, it would have to come back to the council or the planning board in order to be considered for multi-use. It would go back to residential. So that's what we heard at a recent meeting, and I think we all thought that was a nice compromise. So basically, we're in agreement with that.
Yep,
Looking for clarity.
yep, okay.
Let me just clarify. 6 feet away from the building. Found your packet? Yes. You get it for the ring? I figured the way your puppies were trying to break through the window, it was better that I not go any further.
They're all bark.
A lot of people have bought homes in Dunbar Acres the past 5 years and knowing it's residential, and I hate to see that change. I live on the extension of Pat Street, and they connected Paul Street to it. It came out beautiful with 12 brand new homes, and that's a vision I'd like to see over there. That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna go out.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to ask me.
Yeah, no, actually the labs are the loud ones. Mastiffs just sit there and look out the window and they
I was
don't
gonna
care.
stick it between the doors, but I think your outside door is locked too. So.
Probably.
Didn't want to get wet. It was a pretty big package.
Oh, with the dogs.
I could hear the shades rattling as they were.
They destroyed a couch. You don't know what they can do. They ate a couch.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Just run up at the mic if you want. You gotta keep your, you gotta keep your mask on. Just get my glasses on.
You need to bring your pouch back.
They did. I don't know.
She said you hadn't brought it back. So.
I'll have to look.
So we're gathered here this evening to quell this problem we have with Marie Street and with the usage of the land, our abutting neighbors. And as a resident of Marie Street, it's come to us that we're feeling like we haven't been dealt with honestly. We started off with a couple houses and a couple buildings, and then we had a building and more houses, and then on and on. So we're just like, for myself, I'm questioning what the thinking is behind who makes the decision that it's multi-use or residential or contract. Now, the last time we met, I don't know how we would label the meeting, but the last time we met, contracted zoning came up. And honestly, I heard that, I listened to the overview of it, and I thought, this is the answer to our problem. We're good. And that was it. I went on the record as saying, I'm all for it. And then I realized, or not realized, but I heard today that the contracted option is out. I don't get it. My neighbors signed on for it. I signed on for it. The woman of my dreams signed on to it. I figured I was good. And here we are. And now I hear that's off the table, and even me being here is just maybe an exercise in my time, because the planning board may not even accept my overview of the situation. So with all that said, and much of it probably is just noise, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to voice my opinion.
Oh, we thank you for that. Yep, yep. And we'll just see if... Sorry to put you on the spot earlier. We got more time for public comment.
Lisa,
Yeah,
what time is it?
7:30.
Plenty of time.
I love it. Good seeing you.
There is no further public comment. I close the public comment section.
Ray.
What? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry. Okay.
I'm Mary Brown, and I live on Lee Street. And believe me, people there do not want changes. We want to stay in the residential area. It's been awful listening to all these trucks all day long, bang, 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 bang. And if they're going to do something, all right, if you're going to build a house, build a house. But nothing that's going to keep going up and down that road. When I moved there 57 years ago, it was a one-way street, and they told us it was going to remain a one-way street. I don't want to have to move now. I'm too old.
Okay, thank you very much. Yep.
I am Chuck Lambert. I own the property over on Marie Street. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear that, one, this isn't in the middle of a residential neighborhood. We border multi-use on two sides already. And the last proposal was just changing just the upper end of the property from the driveway up. So behind, it would only be behind one house. It's not behind any of the houses. It's not a business where there's trucks going in and out all the time. It's just where he wants to have a garage for his equipment to keep it in a heated garage in town. He plows for the town and stuff. Lee Street's gonna stay a dead end. That's gonna be houses, there's 3 house lots down on that end that we can get utilities to. So, I mean, it's not, we're just looking to extend the line over. We're not looking to put multi-use in the middle of a residential neighborhood. We already border 2 sides.
Yeah, you're going to be available for questions if the council has it for a little bit later. That's great. Thank you very much.
I'm Juanita. I live on Marie Street. I've been there 45 years. But hopefully this comes up, and he just said it's going to be for the town garage trucks. Town garage has their own garage. Why are we building another garage for town garage trucks? That's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Is there any further public comment at this point? You guys, everybody all set? Okay, if there is no further public comment, I close the public comment section of the meeting. We'll now go into old business. So, order number 4-2020, an amendment to the Winslow zoning map to rezone the following lots on tax map 13, lot 115, from high-density residential zone to mixed-use zone. Be it obtained by the town council of the town of Winslow as follows. Whereas, as the planning board voted to recommend that the following lot on tax map 13, lot 115, be rezoned to mixed-use zone. Now therefore be it ordained by the town council that such properties on tax map 13, lot 115, be rezoned from high-density residential zone to mixed-use zone. And I open it up for discussion by the council.
I'd like to make a motion. Right?
Go ahead, Ben.
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider this ordinance 4-2020.
Second.
Second, okay. And discussion, please?
You're asking me?
I'm asking for discussion among the whole council at this time.
Oh, okay.
Just on the motion to reconsider.
To reconsider. Yep. It's open for discussion.
Based on what I'm seeing on this map that we got with the counselor packets, I'm seeing where they want to change it so it would be lot 87, 88, 89, and 90 to be mixed use. Do I have that correct?
You have that correct.
I'd like to make an amendment to that if possible, to, if we're planning on being neighborly to all the abutters, and we're leaving a buffer for everyone, then I feel that lot 90 should be left the higher density residential, not mixed use, just to give lot 91 homeowner that same abutment buffer like the rest of the people.
Okay. Could you hold that till, with further discussion, if there's further discussion, please? Any further?
Hey, Ray?
Yeah.
Ray? Another concern I have, why are they changing Lee Street, that road, to the mixed district? I mean, that has always been part of the high density. Why don't they just change the 3 lots that they're talking about, leave Lee Street alone? That way there, that lady on the corner will not be surrounded by the mixed-use district. That road will then be part of the regular program. So just do 87, 88, and 89. Take out 90 and take out Lee Street out of that orange.
I think Ben's proposing the same thing I was.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting by.
Did we
Mr.
want to
Chair?
get the opinion of the planning board?
Yes, go ahead, Bill.
The narrow issue before you is whether or not you're going to vote to reconsider.
Correct.
The comments being made are certainly be appropriate, but they be more appropriate when in fact the council has made an affirmative vote to reconsider the ordinance change which passed a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so
We have to vote on the motion to reconsider.
motion of the reconsider. Let's vote on the motion to reconsider at this point in time. Is there any discussion further on the motion to reconsider that Ben had, seconded by Jerry? Any discussion further on the reconsider? If not, is that a vote of hands or roll call?
Roll call.
Roll call. If everybody's ready, let's have a roll call, please.
Ben Twitchell?
Yes.
Jerry Querian? Steve Russell?
Yes.
Patricia Ayer?
No.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
And Ray Karen?
Yes. Go ahead, Steve.
I would make an amendment to ordinance number 4220 to list lots 87, 88, and 89 as mixed use. Which was Lee's proposal.
I think Ben's as well.
Yeah.
Ray, I'd like to get the opinion of Gary or Adam from the planning board. Because this was brought up in the planning board meeting and they didn't have any further discussion or questions about it.
Yep, we can ask. And one of the discussion points that I have at this point in time is that I have a hard time. This is the first time that I think we've ever come in where the council is actually trying to decide on a zoning change. As we're making a zoning change, we're really doing the work, and this is my opinion, of the planning board when we are doing zoning. And we have a planning board that's in place there. We've asked for reconsideration. We've asked to review the process again because of, in my mind, of information that's come forward that maybe is new or a little different in nature. So how do we go about redoing this? Bill, do you have a
Could we just
First of all-
go ahead and refer this back to the planning board now that we've opened this back up?
First of all, a motion has been made, but it has not yet been seconded. So it's not, that motion is not ready for discussion unless it has a second.
I'll second it.
and then it's a hand vote? All those in favor?
Well, you can now discuss that.
Yes, okay.
Now it's
Yeah,
discussion.
Now
Yeah.
it's discussion. I'm sorry, Bill. Yeah.
I actually have a
What are we
question.
voting on now?
We're not voting on anything.
Not voting on anything yet.
It's been moved and seconded to consider lots 87, 88, and 89 to mixed use.
I'd like to ask a question of Mr. Martin, and if I could.
Yes, yes.
When we had that workshop the other day, it was lots 90, 89, and 88. and the Lee Street right-of-way was gonna stay in high density. Why has that changed?
Number one, is it legal to go from, and Bill may be able to answer this, is it legal to go from high residential to mixed use by travel? Because technically I'm going across high residential to get to mixed use.
But it's your right-of-way. You can do pretty much.
Is that an arguable, I didn't care that it was kept on the parcel, I was okay with that, but my understanding is that there could be, in talking with my surveyor, who I raised these questions to, had said that the common sense approach to this is that it's okay to cross residential to get into, mixed use to get into residential, but to go from residential to mixed use, you've got to cross over the residential. Is that an issue? If not, then I'm okay with that.
In other words, we're gonna do away with 90, right?
Well, we're talking about the road right now.
Right now, we're talking about the
Okay.
road being included.
Okay, good.
I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but I think after that meeting, there was only one abutter that still had an issue with the 3 lots, but everybody else seemed to be fine with it. That at least that spoke there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little confused at all the changes because nothing's changed from that meeting till now, and now it's, somebody stirred the pot again somewhere along the way, and so I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I will say that nothing's changed on our end. With the exception of the fact that Jeff...
Was the lady okay with 91?
The issue with that lot behind her is the fact that that garage comes down a little bit to have enough room to, we position the garage to be neighbor friendly. We put it so the doors were facing the water place and that we would do all our coming in and out from behind so that it would minimize noise or whatever. So we set it up for their liking, and in order to do that, that garage has to come back beyond the Quonset hut, behind the Quonset hut, so we'll be back onto that lot a little bit on the 91 in order to have room enough to get out of the garage on the other end. But we pushed it way back in the corner as far as we could to give everybody ample buffer and noise protection and light protection. Can't get any further away.
So 87, 88, and 89 would stay as we think now, and Lee Street would go back, and 90 would go back
Well,
into high density.
no, because part of 90 is where the garage is sitting. I'd end up with half a garage. I could put half the loader in.
Ray,
Go ahead, Jerry.
why don't we send this back to the planning board?
Oh my God.
I don't know if we
Table it.
can.
No,
They are-
I think we can make the decision tonight.
No, we cannot send it.
And also, the recommendation to do what we're doing came from a planning board member.
Yeah, I know.
And they discussed it in the last planning board meeting and had no problem with it.
Now, Bill, can you answer this question about that right-of-way?
Is this a town accepted road?
No, it's part of that property. It's the access to that property, but it's wide enough to meet the ordinance for a, like a 4-lot private drive.
Who has a right-of-way over the so-called Lee Street? It's a very good name, by the way, but I don't know, I'd like to know a little more about it. I'm grinning.
Well, technically, when this is done, it'll be just me. Because I'd own the whole parcel, then I'd own the mixed-use parcel.
So-
Which would be broken off from that.
You'd own Lot 87, Lot 88, 89, and 90?
And then on the other side,
Everything in the document.
It's probably a little better than my
When he's done,
iPhone.
he would own everything in the black line.
You'd own all of this?
the black line is what would be the whole parcel, and then the mixed use would be a part of that parcel, which would be in the orange, I assume, on that?
Yes.
That color code?
Yes.
And then the other end, which is retained by CNL Real Estate, which would also stay private, or how you say, residential.
Just very quickly looking at this, I think that if you're going to be rezoning, since Lee Street's not an accepted street, that it's just part of the property.
Yeah, yes.
That it would be part of the rezoned property as well. Because you're going to have, first of all, it's part of the same lot. Secondly,
Well, the lots being broken up into 2.
which lots are being, there are 4 lots here. I don't,
Anything in the orange
yeah?
is being requested for mixed use. What we had
Which
originally.
includes Lee Street, as presently configured.
Correct. The question being, if he does not include Lee Street into the mixed use, can he cross, whereas it's his property on both sides? If he leaves the Lee Street right-of-way, or whatever you want to call it, in high-density residential, does that cause a problem with him getting to his property? Seeing it's all his land anyway.
Well, it strikes me that the Lee Street is going to be used for that
But it's gonna be
mixed-use purpose,
But it's going to be used for the residential side too.
okay?
This is where the hiccup is right now, as far as I'm concerned. Because the original discussion we had at the workshop was to include the 3 lots, leave, that way, lot 90, is it 91?
90.
That's 91.
Right, 91 wouldn't be buffered on 3 sides by high density.
But the actual lot line, these lots right now, covers what is called Lee Street.
Yes.
Not really.
No, doesn't lot 87 go down to right here?
The road.
Doesn't
No.
lot 88 go to right here?
No.
Yes.
It doesn't?
No.
Is,
That road splits them.
Well, in terms of common ownership.
It's not a road, it's a
It's
private.
a right-of-way, yeah.
It's a right of way,
It's a
right?
right-of-way, so the lot actually there's no difference in ownership of the underlying land between what's labeled as, say, lot 87 in the area just whatever that direction would be, which is part of the Lee Street right-of-way, correct? It's common ownership.
Correct.
Well,
Well, if you're going to be rezoning, I don't think you're going to be rezoning half of a lot.
No.
Well, you would be if you cut it off right here.
That is,
okay.
that's where the lot cut off. This is the right of way.
Well, but the ownership is in common. In other words, it's just
So is
this.
all this.
Right.
The whole
This is all one parcel. It just happens to be.
But he's looking to take these 30 lots out of high-density residential to mixed use, because your mixed use here and here. He wants to add these in the mixed use. The hiccup right now is this right away. That's turned to mixed use. And she's abutted on 3 sides by mixed use. And then this person becomes abutted on 1 side. Now, all these owners here that we've spoken to are fine with this being mixed use as long as there's a buffer between here and here.
which I'll have the buffer because all of the lots.
To try to address the question, to answer what the actual status of this right-of-way is, I would really want to see the deed to this property before I made some announcement here and the council would be voting on
One of the
something
things
that
I
I'd
gotta
to
have
say.
is
I have
just a
not
minute.
seen any of the documents pertaining to that.
Yeah.
I'd want to see that before saying legally it's this or it's that. I can't do that
I
tonight.
submitted it to the town, the written description from the.
But I want, yeah, right now I want people that are talking to talk and no one else can talk, please, in the audience or anything right now so that we can concentrate on what we have to do right here. This is just my opinion on this situation right now, is that there's some questions that we have. We've already opened it up for reconsideration. Where it goes and who decides on it, we could always decide on this property in the next couple weeks, but I think it has to be decided on who jurisdiction it is to take all this information, and whether it's a council workshop with the planning board, or whether it's with the code enforcement officer and the council, we can decide that later. It's my opinion at this point in time is that we've voted for reconsideration for this particular zoning right now. I would say that we don't try to solve this problem here tonight, but we get the people that need to be involved in the procedure to resolve this issue involved in the next week. And that would be my suggestion at this point in time, is that we've opened it up for reconsideration. We don't have to act on it tonight as far as the solution goes. Steve, go ahead.
Well, I think we already had the workshop. That's what we did out at the property, correct?
Correct.
And so I think the consensus was the neighbors were okay if 3 of the lots got changed to mixed use because they wouldn't border their properties, right? Wasn't that the conclusion we reached from that?
Correct.
So that was my motion. Those 3 lots get changed to mixed use.
But this new proposal of Steve's has the right-of-way in mixed use now, where it wasn't originally.
But it's just a right of way. You can't build on that. It's not big enough to build on. You can only drive over it, which no matter what zone it's in, you can drive over it because it's his right of way. He owns the right of way. So he can access that property across that right of way.
That's my
no matter
feeling.
what the zone is.
The first thing I'm going to do here is Adam has, the code enforcement officer wants to speak at the mic. If, Steve, you could just hang out and just come on up.
I just wanted to make a clarification that it's not exactly those same lot lines that they're talking about changing. Because of the Quonset hut, the lot line has to go at least 10 feet away from the Quonset hut to make it not non-conforming. Does that make any sense? If I may.
Yep.
Here's a Quonset hut. You can't put this lot line right through it. It's gotta go around it or this way. This is all one line. And it's a deeper street. I don't believe it is a right of way.
Well, okay, if I may?
Yes, you may.
Okay. When it came up that the council was going to have a workshop out there, did have a discussion with the town, and it was decided that there was no reason for me to attend. So I wasn't there. I didn't see all the things that you've seen. And looking here at this map right now, which has multiple lines drawn on it, and the code enforcement officer has just raised another question, I'm not comfortable, if there's a legal issue here, I'm not comfortable trying to answer it. I'm not going to look at a legal description. Thank you for giving it to me, Mr. West. But I'm not going to try to read through that and say, oh, this means this means that, and that orange line doesn't count here. The dotted blue line counts instead, or the black line, or whatever it might be. I would need more information before I would be comfortable giving answering a legal question that people would rely upon. Just too many moving parts here that I have no familiarity with. I was not there.
And that's why I feel at this point in time that the council rezoning this piece of property at this point in time, we're not really, I don't feel qualified in, I also got a big concern about Lot 90 as far as, I'd like to see something done there where you could still have access to the hut, but yet still create a buffer for the old Dutton property that's on Lot 91. I feel that would deter the value of that house tremendously, and I'm not comfortable with any solution right now that doesn't have some type of plan for keeping somewhat of a buffer and keeping that old Dutton house residential without somebody backing right up against that property. That's just my feeling right now, and I feel uncomfortable okaying anything that doesn't address that issue.
I agree.
One question.
Yeah.
The thing I'm confused about here, Ray, is that I took your recommendation, and the board and the council at that meeting, we took your recommendations to come up with this plan. So you could take care of it, so I wouldn't have to be delayed into the winter to get a garage up. So that's a little confusing. As far as that lot that you're worried about giving a buffer to, I'm not sure what you mean by that, because the property line, right now, the Quonset hut is a full lot off that property line.
Yep.
You know, the only thing on that property now is her swing set, her garden, her fire pit. The only thing on our property is her stuff.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's plenty of buffer there now. So I don't understand that logic of thinking.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Yes, I do. I do follow you.
So
Yeah.
your recommendations, I brought to the board based on, and I had it drafted up, including the lines that he was referring to, setback for the garage, everything that you asked for, it's on there. All we asked him for an opinion on was whether or not, can we cross over that right away or not?
Yep.
It's a simple question. Seems to be a simple answer.
Yep.
Yes or no? So I guess I'm a little confused.
I can understand the confusion, because I was obviously at the meeting. You know, I organized the meeting to have people there and stuff, and I had a different interpretation when I was there of, like, we were gonna have that on Lot 90. I had a different interpretation on Lot 90. My interpretation when I was there was 87, 88, and 89 were gonna become mixed use, and that we were going to, Lot 90 was still gonna create the buffer. I'm just telling you what my lot, when I saw the map, the new map, I said, well, I thought that was different than what we had talked about. After the meeting, there was a bunch of groups that were talking. I don't know what the final thing was, but when I looked at this map right here, and I'm telling you, Steve, right now, is that when I looked at the map, I said, what happened to Lot 90 for the buffer? That was my interpretation. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree, that was my interpretation, because we were standing about where that elbow is in the road, and we were looking down that way and saying those 3 lots could go mixed use and leave everybody else a buffer around that. I think that's what our discussion was, we were standing right on that corner. And we weren't talking about changing Lot 90 to high density, or from high density to mixed use. I don't think we discussed that. I thought we were discussing the lots further down.
Because you were there, right?
Yep.
And I think we were in on that discussion,
Yep.
and I'm trying to,
That was my impression anyways. I don't know if it was ever written in stone.
Yep.
Obviously it wasn't.
well, that's what we're here for tonight, is trying to decide, you know what I mean, where we stand right now.
Any other questions?
Any further questions?
So, there's a motion on the floor. Would you rather see that motion tabled, or do you want to vote on it first?
What I'd like to see is whatever the right thing to do, and whatever we can work out between the homeowners and the people that want to, and Steve that wants to develop the land. I think there's some legal questions, and I think that if we further investigate it, we can get the people involved to see a path forward of how we're going to resolve this issue. Because I don't think we should rezone this here at the council level. I don't think we're the body that should be making rezoning changes. And I think it should either go back to the planning board or go back to the code enforcement officer with these, with concerns that have been brought forward. Go ahead, Steve.
I'd like to ask for legal counsel. This was a ordinance that we passed and had 2 readings on, so it became law if nobody brought it up a new motion within 30 days. So that's what we've done.
Correct.
So now that we've opened it and brought it up, do we have to make the decision now? Can we table it? Do we amend it the way we want to, or?
You can postpone. What the legal effect of the motion for reconsideration that passed is, it basically erases the second reading of the proposed ordinance change that you took at the last meeting. So it puts it back in the status of having had 1 reading.
Okay.
You at this point could make a motion to amend what was passed and take the final reading on it. You could move to postpone this matter to investigate it further if you wished. You probably could refer it back to the planning board. Whether any of those are good ideas,
Right, I just wanted to make sure.
Those are policy decisions.
I just wanted to make sure, since we made the motion to reopen it, I wanted to make sure that it didn't automatically get closed if we do nothing, if we don't vote on it, that it's the second reading.
You
So
can
the second reading is now
postpone this for
suspended.
2 weeks.
Okay.
You can postpone it for a month if that, or whatever
Yeah.
you may
Okay.
wish to do.
Thank you.
Just as you could with any other ordinance that's had 1 reading.
Right, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
That's where it is right now.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question of Gary and Adam?
You can.
You attended the workshop, correct?
Yes.
So you listened to all the concerns that everybody had?
Yeah.
And you got emails too?
Yeah.
Because I was seeing some of them. Gary, you went to the workshop, correct? Did you have any concerns about what was going on?
Not at the end of it.
And in the last planning board meeting that you guys had last week, this was brought up, and you guys are still in agreement with what you already passed, correct?
Right.
Okay, so what is the point of bringing it back to the planning board if they're already in agreement of what we've already done? And they've already listened to all the concerns, and they've already read all the emails and been CC'd and all of that, so
The council,
What happens
if we,
if we put it back to them, and then they come back and say the same exact thing, then
Yep.
that's what we're comfortable with, I guess?
and this, again, this is my opinion, is the council at this particular time has some issues with, brought up by the citizens and other people too, and that this needs to be reconsidered. Now, if they come back with the same thing, then we're in the same boat that we're in, but at least they get to review it again in light of testimony, in light of some questions about roads, mixed use. So it gives them a second look at it. And if it comes back the same, then we'll be in the same boat, but at least the process is reviewed and it goes back to a body that maybe with new data that we have concerns. They might say, it doesn't matter, we're gonna do the same thing, but at least I get a chance to look at it again.
Well, if I may, Ray?
Yeah.
After that meeting, to me, it was clear of lots 90, 89, and 88. 87 was an add-on, correct?
Yeah, because it was still inside that, well, and that was, again, I only did that based on Ray's recommendation that, what if you want to expand in the future? That was the only lot that didn't border anybody that could be used as part of that mixed use for my work.
Right.
So it was only based on Ray's recommendation I did that. I mean, I don't have to put that in mixed use. I did it because he said you might need to expand.
Yeah. And like I said, the only issue I have other than that is that right-of-way line being moved over.
You tell me I can go across it on residential standing, then I don't have a problem.
Only because that was the agreement that pretty much everybody was happy with.
And I'm happy with that too.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable saying that I approved of Lot 90 when, again, Steve, that was not my recommendation at the time. I know, as council chair, that I try to let the council make those recommendations. I don't. We gather information and then we come together and we make those recommendations here. So, go ahead, Steve.
There would be one advantage to tabling it. The abutters aren't able to come in here and debate this and give their say. They did it to public comment, but there's no back and forth, there's no questions, and what did they recollect? So another meeting could have another public hearing where everybody involved could be a part of the discussion. I don't know.
Do we have anything up for a vote right now?
Yes, I have a motion on the table, and it's on the floor, and it's been seconded. And that motion is to change lots 87, 88, and 89 to mixed use. That's the motion on the table.
So do we have to vote that down to table this thing?
We would have to.
Okay.
No, we could just table this, right?
Or the person who made the motion and the person who seconded the motion could withdraw it.
And then we table the second
And
meeting?
then you could have a motion to table it if you wish.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion then, if that's what you guys want.
I'll withdraw mine as well. And I'll make a motion to table it.
Second. Do you guys want to table it, or do you guys want to vote on it? What's the pleasure?
Table it. Table it.
If we're tabling it, what's the point of tabling it, and what are we gonna gain from that? Are we gonna send it back to the planning board, which they already are gonna send it back to us?
I think we're gonna get with Adam,
Have another workshop?
myself, Paul, and people to say, what's the next steps? We don't know what the next steps are.
No, I agree,
It
but
would be, the most beneficial thing would be to have it reconsidered by the planning board, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it might come back the same, but at least it's there for reconsideration.
I don't wanna table it and not have a plan, because I feel bad for him, because we've already had 2 readings on it, and
Yep.
now we're going back.
Yep,
And that's
yep.
not fair.
That's not
So,
fair.
I just wanna know if we're gonna table it, what's the game plan? Adam has.
Yep, go ahead, Adam.
Just wanted to remind the council, and I don't think that they talked about this yet today, about the potential for a contract zone where it sounded like the neighbors were happy with it, where Steve could have his garage and the rest of the lot would remain residential. Just an option, and if you guys want to discuss it, it's out there.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that would be something we should look at. I think we would have to know what's the legality of that. Does it involve lawyers from both sides being hired and?
It would be similar to what the town just did a few months ago.
Oh, that's right, okay. Maybe that's the answer then, a contract zone.
Opinion?
That's what the council wishes.
Have you ever dealt with a contract zone before?
Number of times.
We've done one, correct?
We've
Yes,
done one.
oh, the Orion Road.
And other communities
Yes.
have done them far more frequently than Winslow has.
The first one was Orion Road.
What?
The first one was Orion Road.
Right.
It's our only one.
That's right, that's, yeah.
And I think the proper place for determining the contract zone would be back to the planning board. Is that correct or incorrect?
Made a motion to table this.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor to table.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote on.
Is, through the chair?
Ray?
Through the chair? Is there a date to table it till a particular date?
Could you try again?
I don't know why it does that. Every once in a while, Rick.
I think I would table it to the next meeting, but hopefully we'd have a path forward before the next meeting if we, you know.
So is the intent, when you say to table it to the regularly scheduled meeting in November?
Yes, right now, that would be the intent at this point.
Could we move that
But if
up?
we could resolve it before then, and I think we get the people involved to try to resolve this just as soon as possible. And we could always have a special meeting, or if it's close to the other meeting, we could wait till the next regularly scheduled meeting. But I would be open to have a special meeting too. I think the motion on the floor right now is to table, we have a motion to reconsider. It's just to table the reconsideration for further discussion on
Well, the motion-
what path to play. Yep, go ahead,
Motion is
Steve.
to table the second reading.
Yes.
We've disposed of the second reading. Motion on the
Yes.
table is to table the second reading.
That's the motion on the floor.
Right.
And we're having discussion on that now.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion on that?
Well, isn't the reconsideration, that took away the second vote, right?
Correct.
So
That's
now
right.
we're sitting there, we got that ordinance thing sitting there, but there is no power behind it because it only has one reading. And what
That's
we wanna
correct.
do Now is table that whole thing till the 1st of November.
Get some people together to find a path forward in the next week or two. Any further, yep, go ahead, Lee.
I'm a little lost at where we're at in this process, but I think if we're gonna table this, I think we ought to resolve this or move forward a lot faster than waiting till the next meeting.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I would say at the very most, no more than 2 weeks, and have a special meeting and get this resolved
Okay.
before the 1st of November.
I'm
I
all in
agree.
favor
I
of that.
think that's fair, that's fair
That's fair,
for
that's fair.
Mr. Martin.
Yep,
Give us time to do whatever
we need to do.
have to do.
Yep, yep.
So you want to amend the motion then?
What's that?
You gonna amend the motion?
Does that have to be in the motion to table when, the exact time you reconsider it?
Well, if you're trying to set yourself a deadline, yeah.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Let's set a deadline.
So, do I make a motion for that, or?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, make a motion that we table it and resolve this no longer than 2 weeks.
Okay. That's the motion on the floor. We have a
Second.
second, first and second. Is it a roll call, or is that going to be?
You already had a
Two.
motion. You had,
What's that?
He wanted to know how many motions we have right now. We got two.
Second. Unless that was an amendment to table.
For now, we have a motion on the floor, I believe, is to table the motion to the next meeting. The reconsideration until the next meeting,
Special meeting, correct?
special meeting.
I believe you had a motion to just table it without that first. I think Jerry made that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta close that one first.
Yep, okay.
Could either withdraw that one or
He can
or amend that one.
He can withdraw his
So they
motion.
could withdraw that.
Yep,
You willing to withdraw your motion?
Yes.
okay,
And Steve seconded it.
yep. Steve, you're withdrawing that motion?
Yeah, I will.
Seconded?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
Now, before we go,
Oh, my gosh.
should we, through the planning board, have them get in touch with Bill Lee?
Those right there.
We're gonna do what we
Hey,
have.
Bill.
We're gonna get together in the next couple days. We're
Okay.
gonna decide which path, and that might be, definitely Bill will be involved in that path forward for the 2 weeks. So I think that goes without saying. So right now, the motion on the floor right now, go ahead, make sure
Motion
it's
to
clarified.
Motion to table it until we have our special meeting no longer than 2 weeks from today.
Okay,
The 27th.
27th.
Or second, yeah.
Is that a roll call? or is
It
that-
will be, yeah.
That will be a roll call vote. Motion to end discussion. End
Motion.
discussion. Go ahead, Lisa, please.
Ben Twitchell,
Yes.
Jerry Clarion, Steve Russell,
Yes.
Patricia Ayer,
Yes.
Jeff West,
Yep.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Perfect.
Moving on. Ordinance number 5-2020, an amendment to ordinance number 24, 1972, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Public Cemeteries, by replacing it with the attached section 2-21, 2-22, 2-23, 2-24, and 2-25.
Second.
Be it ordained by the Town Council, Town of Winslow, as follows: the Town Council established public cemeteries with ordinance number 24-1972, and the Park and Recreation Department is proposing to update Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Public Cemeteries, be it enacted by the Town Council of the Town of Winslow, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Public Cemeteries.
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? No discussion? Go ahead, show of hands or...
It's a roll call.
It's a roll call.
Ben
go ahead.
Twitchell,
Yes.
Jerry
Yes.
Clarion, Steve Russell,
Yes.
Patricia Ayer.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes. Order number 18-2020, in order providing for the sale of tax-acquired property, be it ordered by the Town Council of the Town of Winslow as follows: whereas the Town of Winslow has tax-acquired 3 properties and has determined that the town has no use for such land and/or buildings, and whereas the tax collector would be listing the land and/or buildings with a local realtor, now therefore be it ordained by the Town Council that the tax collector is hereby authorized to negotiate and sell the tax-acquired properties through the listing realtor and to issue a quick claim deed for the property.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? If no discussion, go ahead, Lisa.
Ben Twitchell,
Yes.
Jerry
Yes.
Clarion, Steve Russell.
Yes.
Patricia Ayer.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
And Ray Karen.
Yes. Order number 19-2020, an order providing for authorization for the interim town manager to prepare a quick claim deed which will allow the transfer of properties located at 150 China Road, tax map 16, lot 78-2, and China Road, tax map 16, lot 77, for the amount of taxes owed.
So moved.
Ordained
Second.
by the Town Council, Town of Winslow as follows: the Town of Winslow has acquired a structure of .4298 acres on land located at 150 China Road, tax map 16, lot 78-2, and has determined that the town has no use for such land in, whereas the Town of Winslow has tax-acquired land on the China Road, tax map 16, lot 77, with 1 acres, and has determined that the town has determined that it has no use for such land, whereas the abutter parcel owner, Tom Davis, has requested the property transferred to him in exchange for the amount of taxes owed, and now therefore be it ordered by the Town council that the town manager is hereby authorized to prepare a quick claim deed to transfer the tax-acquired property located at 150 China Road.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Question?
Yep, go ahead, Lee.
Does this include all the tax acquired property? That even the landlocked piece? That
Yes.
Everything included? I know there was something about, I think there was 3 lots, and at one point we discussed, or someone discussed, only letting them have two of the lots. Is this for all of it?
Yes, it is. It's for the whole,
Okay.
the whole shebang.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
We didn't pass this last month because of a legal issue. Do we have clarification on that?
Paul?
I believe Judy has the description of what transpired with that property.
No, we passed it. This is the second reading.
We tabled it, though. We pulled this out because there was brought up that Judy had a legal issue.
No, you took the first vote.
So we wait.
No, I think we took the first reading.
Yeah.
Because we knew there was a second one.
Okay.
Yep.
So you want Judy to...
Judy is welcome to speak if she likes.
First of all, Judy Matthew, the assessor. Want to make it clear that I have no personal interest in the tax-acquired properties, but it is my policy and procedures to provide the best information that I have so that you're aware of the properties that you do have an interest in and the ones that you're going to transfer. This second piece, there was no legal issue, so to speak. I would have probably clarified that if I'd been asked to come to the last meeting. There's 2 pieces of property that are being transferred in this article, and the only concern I had was that the second one, Lot 77, is the piece out behind the subdivision and was never even put on the tax rolls until 3 years ago. Nobody's ever paid taxes on it, ever. It was always an unknown property, and it was owned by Avian Farms at one point, so we started taxing it to them. And of course, it became tax acquired like the other one, which is Lot 2. So that was the only thing I wanted to clarify for you folks, that that's a 1.8 acre parcel of undeveloped land, and we just had a 1.8 acre piece sell for $80,000 without any road frontage. So that's all I wanted to do, was just have the best interest for the council and property that they own.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Judy. Any further discussion on the property? If no further discussion, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Ben Twitchell.
Yes.
Jerry Clarion. Steve Russell.
No.
Patricia Ayer.
Yes.
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
No.
And Ray Karen.
Yes.
So it's 5-2.
What was that? That was 20. That 20 or 21?
Yep, that was 19.
That was 19. That was 20, not 19? Okay, sorry.
Can I make a motion that you don't read the entire thing?
That's a good motion. Authorizing
I was gonna make that suggestion too.
Read by title only, so moved.
order by title only providing for, I'm just going to, up to $1.902 million of the town general obligation bonds to finance sewer
So
and
moved.
stormwater improvements.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ben Twitchell.
Yes.
Jerry Clarion.
Yes.
Steve Russell.
Yes.
Patricia Ayer. Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
And who was the first and second on the motion?
I was first.
Thank you.
New business? No, we still
No.
got order.
go one more one.
Tax collector.
The one on Maple Ridge.
Providing for order number 21-2020, providing for the authorization for the tax collector to sell 101 acres of tax-acquired property on Maple Ridge Road, tax map 3, lots 3, 8-H and 8-1, with a minimum bid of $85,000 in an easement from Farm Land Trust. Second. Any discussion?
We have someone who's interested in buying a parcel of it. Do we want to I don't know which exact lot or on the tax map he was interested in, but do we want to split that up and give him? Oh,
Yeah, is this the first reading or second?
This is the second.
Second reading?
Just reading for the map.
I don't have a map in my
This is the
packet.
one that fell through last year, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
Second reading.
Is there any interest for tabling this for now for a second, for a investigation?
I make a motion to table it.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not sure we need to table it. We've discussed this now for almost 2 years, I think.
Exactly.
If someone's going to buy a 100-acre farm, they want the woodlot with it, I think, for the most part. It makes it valuable, makes it a piece of property large enough to run and operate a farm. And that was the intention from the Agricultural Commission. And that's what we've done for the last 2 years.
But we currently don't have anyone interested in this
Well, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
for all.
For the whole thing, for the 100 acres. Because they're going to get $30,000 or $40,000 from Maine Farmland Trust as part of their bid.
And that's actually going to go through? Weren't we waiting on that the last time?
Nope.
No, we were all set the last time.
Why did the deal fall through the last time? The buyer backed out?
The buyer
They
had a catastrophe on his farm and didn't have the capital.
They needed the money to fix their.
And we've got at least 3 people, or 4, ready to submit a bid for this property. And the minimum we're going to get is 85. That's the minimum bid on it.
And you know for a fact that they want the wood lot?
Generally, when you buy a farm, you buy a woodlot with it, as a general rule. Not always, but.
And if they buy it and they want to split it up, they can, but, you know.
Well, not with the Maine Farmland Trust rules. Probably they can't split it up.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
All right, can I retract my?
Well, we'll get tax money out of it after we sell it.
I don't think it hurts to take we've waited a long time, we've had different buyers, we've had different situations. I don't see what the to wait a month to figure out, to just look at it. To see it make more sense to have that wood lot as a usable type of thing versus what can you do it with the land trust? I'm not sure. I'm just.
It's part of the farm. It would be, logging is part of the farmland
Yeah.
usually. The logging operation. I mean, you cut your woodlot.
Yep.
If you're a farmer.
So you're withdrawing your motion?
Yes.
And Jerry, second.
Might as well.
Is there any further discussion?
I just think that we have an abutter that wants to purchase the wood lot. We don't know if the other people that want to buy this want to buy the wood lot.
Yep. Yep.
Am I allowed to speak on this?
After Steve, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Steve,
If
first.
you do break that woodlot off, Maine Farmland Trust is going to have to start over from the beginning because they've gone through their committees and presented it to the board and accepted the 100-acre parcel as part of their program. So I'm just warning you, if you go through that, you're going to delay it more than just tabling it for a month. Because if you split that off, they will have to reassess and have a reval of the property.
Depending on how much that woodland is worth, the price may be less too.
Yep, it will be.
So on the woodland, the town had that woodland cut off 3 years ago. I'm the abutter. And there is nothing left on there for trees that is bigger than 6 inches. They strip mined it. And that was on lot 3 and also on 8-1. So the woodlot goes up to where the fields are. I just talked to Chris last week at the farm trust place, and he told me that he said generally, there's nothing wrong with having a woodlot go with the farm trust because the farmers, they log it off for income when things are slow or whatever. But he also did not know that you guys already logged it off. And when I asked him about splitting it up, he said they would be more than willing to look at it that way because his big concern was the 30 acres that is prime farmland, which is those fields. And I mean, and it isn't like I haven't been trying to buy this for a long time. Me and Mike Hevner have gone through this many times.
You brought this up to me last year.
last year too. I mean, I don't mind taking the whole thing also. My big problem is having the restrictions of the farmland on there. Because, not that I want to develop it, but I really want to have something for my grandkids, something to keep them in town. You know, put a house out there, then you got tax money coming in too.
Yep.
I make a motion to table it.
Any discussion on the table?
You want to wait for Jerry to get back from the bathroom?
Yeah.
We have to?
He's coming.
I think Steve has some pretty valid points about if we split that land, then we have to start negotiating it all over again. Is that correct, Steve?
Yeah, I don't know, if we split the woodlot off and we're putting one property out to bid, do we have to put both of them out to bid with a minimum bid on each one? I don't know how that would work. I don't know what you would do, what you would decide to do.
Go ahead.
Steve did make a comment about, someone having a farm trust or farm land that they could log the property, but the gentleman that spoke said that if the property's already been stripped and there's no trees on there bigger than 6 inches, I mean...
Go ahead, Steve.
Except for a woodlot is a long-term investment, and even though you've cut it 6 years ago, that doesn't mean you're not gonna cut it 10 years from now, and then another 15 years after that, whatever the schedule would warrant for that particular woodlot, depending on what the variety of the tree is on it. And if it's all garbage wood, perhaps you're correct.
So the amendment on the floor right now is a table. Is that correct, for consideration of splitting the forest portion of it off?
Well, if not looking at splitting it, well, at least get more information regarding that Chris gentleman from the land trust saying that there wouldn't be a problem cutting that off. I mean, I'd like to at least find out more information regarding that.
Me too.
So right now, that's on the table. Any further discussion? Can we have a roll call on the amendment to table order number 21-2020?
Ben Twitchell?
Yes.
Jerry Querian?
Yes.
Steve Russell?
No.
Patricia Ayer? Jeff West?
No.
Lee Trahan?
Yes.
And Ray Karen?
No.
4-3.
Okay. New business. Order number 22-2020, providing for the authorization for the town manager to sign the attached employment agreement with Leonard McCade, herein called the chief, to begin performing the service of police.
So move.
Any discussion?
Second.
My only comment, and I reached out to a couple of counselors, is to table the contract so that Erica can have an opinion about it. Erica is our new town manager, and I think that her reviewing the contract and having her input in it would be very helpful.
Okay. Any further discussion? If no further discussion, whoop,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm asking if there's any further discussion.
No.
Okay. Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Ben Twitchell?
Yes.
Jerry Querian?
Yes.
Steve Russell?
Yes.
Patricia Ayer?
No.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
No.
Ray Karen?
Yes. Order
5-2.
number 23 dash, whoop, go ahead,
Make a
Steve.
motion to suspend the second reading of that contract?
What was it?
Yeah.
Make a motion to suspend the second reading.
So move. Second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on bypassing the second reading? If no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Ben Twitchell?
Yes.
Jerry Querian?
Yes.
Steve Russell?
Yes.
Patricia Ayer?
No.
Jeff West?
Yes.
Lee Trahan?
No.
And Ray Karen?
Yes.
5-2.
Order number 23-2020, providing for the authorization for the town manager to sell town-owned property on Bellevue Street, map 21, lot 007.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lee.
Oh, I was going to ask through the chair, Paul, was there any kind of feasibility study or anything done?
Not really. I mean, the developer was interested. He's asked me 2-3 times. I had another request before this person. I just wanted to get it out there for you guys to decide yea or nay. I really don't care. It's just...
So there's no preliminary design or anything like that?
No, that's really up to the developer. If he has an engineer that says he can build a proper structure on that, really, to me, it's not our concern. It's his risk, you know?
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Steve.
So if you do sell that, does that get listed with the Realtor?
Yes. Yes, we'd have to, because I've had 2 requests on it, so I wouldn't want to do
Either that or we put it out to bid if you wanted, if the council wanted to do that.
that's the council's choice, but I mean, I wouldn't want to do a deal with just one person when I know there's other people interested.
Yeah. What would you guys want to do? Would you guys want to bid that out or just do a Realtor and have the Realtor sell it for as much as they can get?
I mean, it's got a tax appraisal, I think, of around $26,000. I think is what the assessor has. You know, you put it out in that price range and see what you get. I just wanted the decision one way or the other so that we can answer the people that no, we don't want to sell it, or yes, we do. It's just we've talked about it and
No use for the town?
no.
Nope.
Any further discussion, Jerry?
Yeah,
Amanda's
that
not here today.
buildable lot,
Excuse me,
is that buildable?
anything's buildable if you want to spend enough money for a foundation. They put bridges across rivers all the time, so depends how much money the guy wants to spend. I mean, I'm not being rude. It's not our concern. It is something high-end the guy's looking to build. There's taxable properties, probably $500,000 worth of property on a parcel that we really aren't utilizing. Like I said.
Now, is that the whole strip?
No, not all of it. Part of it, I think at the end of the first Bellevue is ours, like kind of an extension, and I think at the other end, part of it goes to the other property. Like I said, I just wanted to have a decision one way or the other. We can tell these people, no, we're not, yes, we are. If you guys turn it down, I'm
This is the
fine.
first reading?
Yes.
First reading.
I just want you guys to consider it and think about it.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sure, just as a point of order, the actual sale of the real estate will take 2 readings, but if you're just authorizing them to put it out, list it with a Realtor, or put it out to bid, that could really just be done as a single reading. The sale of town property takes 2 readings. This is going to have to come back to you anyway.
Okay.
You can't, the council can't delegate to the town manager to pick the best sales price. You, as the council, decide what the sales price is going to be.
So just one reading?
You
and
can do this
just
as one
to
reading.
authorize?
Yep.
The
Yep.
So it should be a resolution then, and not
Yes.
not an order.
Right. Because it's not final. It's going to come back to you when there's a proposed buyer.
So can we
Then it
change?
has 2 readings.
Can we change this to resolution tonight, or do we have to
Yeah.
wait till next
We
meeting?
can, a motion to amend it to make it resolution number, whatever that
Okay.
resolution number would be.
I make it,
42 dash.
I make an amendment to change it to resolution number 23-2020.
It'd be
Go ahead, Steve.
42.
You probably would have to make it resolution 42.
42-2000.
Okay.
2000.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
And that's not even to sell town property, it's to list the town
It's
property.
just a list.
Correct.
Down property. Did I have a first and second on that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? If no discussion, so we're amended that to resolution number 42-2020.
This is on the amendment.
Yep. Yep. Is that a roll call or a?
Well, we should, yes.
Yep, go ahead.
Ben Twitchell.
Yes.
Jerry Query.
Yes.
Steve Russell.
Yes.
Patricia Ayer. Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan.
Yes.
Ray Karen.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution 42, 2020.
Second that. I'll let you have that.
That would be
Show of hands. All those in favor, please?
I'd like to make one amendment to that. Instead of authorized to sell, authorized to list
Yes.
for sale. In other words,
Which one are you talking about? Resolution 42?
yes, the new resolution, we changed the order, and we not authorize them to sell it, we'll authorize them to list it.
List.
To put it out to bid or
Town-owned
list.
property on Bellevue Street.
I already changed my vote.
Yep.
So my amendment would be change authorized to sell to authorized to list. Is that right, Bill? Is that?
Yes.
Need a second on that.
Second? Show of hands?
Trish already did.
Trish already did, okay. That's just a show of hands?
It is, yeah.
Is so? All those in favor? Anybody opposed? All set. Order number 24-2020. Go ahead, Steve.
I think the motion we just passed was the amendment to list. And
Yeah.
Now
Correct.
we would pass resolution 42-220 as amended.
Yep, okay. So 42-2020 as amended. Do we have a first and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? That's again a show of hands.
That one can be, yes.
Yep. All those in favor? All those opposed? One opposed?
I'm not opposed.
Okay,
He's scratching his nose.
okay. Order number 24-2020, providing for the acceptance of Halifax Heights as a town street which is located in the approved Halifax Heights Mobile Home Park subdivision.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Is finish put on that yet?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay.
Would you like to list the streets on that? Because we didn't list the street names, just to make it legal.
Yeah.
The streets are Elizabeth Street, Cedar Brook Avenue, and Hayden Street, Hayden, just so we have it in the record of which streets are
Okay.
accepted.
Okay. We have to amend it, or do you want us to?
It's up to you, I guess. I mean, it's just a clarification of what Halifax Heights is.
Why don't we do it just why don't we do it at order number 24-2020, Halifax Heights as a town street, which includes streets, the three streets that Paul just mentioned, and approved Halifax Mobile Home Park. So that's the amended. Can I have a first and a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Is it a roll call or?
It would be.
Roll call, go ahead.
Ben Twitchell,
Yes.
Jerry Clarion, Steve Russell, Patricia Ayer,
Yes?
Jeff West.
Yes.
Lee Trahan,
Yes.
and Ray Karen.
Yes. Resolution number 40-2020, providing for the authorization for the town clerk registry of voters to notify the voters of this municipality of a municipal election for the town of Winslow to be held on Tuesday, November 3rd. Discussion? If no discussion, is that a roll call?
It is not.
It is not. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Resolution number 41-2020, providing for the town council of the town of Winslow to elect to participate in the MMA Workers' Compensation
Second.
Safety Incentive Program. Discussion? If no discussion, is that roll call?
It is not.
It is not. Raise your hand, please. All those opposed? Discussion items? If we go into the discussion items right now, Haywood Road? Yep, yep.
I'll wait for Steve.
Somebody want to buy the Haywood Road now?
What?
Somebody want to buy the Haywood Road now? They can have it. They can have them all.
You have Clinton Ave. I'm gonna let you forget that one.
I
My
sent
initial
the
res-
rest of the email in my head. It's not my fault you can't read my mind, okay?
I don't think I want to do that.
What? No, nobody wants to. Trust me.
Gary, please.
My first response is going to be, what about it? But it's
He just
long.
sent an email and go, what about Clinton Ave? And he was like, what about it? Oh,
like-
crap. Let me finish my shot.
Like, it's long, it's black, it's, I don't know, it's, I kind of assumed you were talking about the upper end where the state's been working, but,
I'm just tired of driving over that strip of just gravel, and I want to know when it's going to be done.
well, they're gonna patch it, but I think they're gonna do like China Road probably the next year or the year after. I believe that's what they're,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah. Very important. This is on.
Okay, discussion item, you all set?
It's good? Oh, sorry.
You all set, Chad? All set with Trish? Haywood Road?
Yeah, so I brought the Hayward Road on discussion. I actually met with the planning board last week to discuss with them about it. There was a fire at 87 Hayward Road in December of last year, and the family that was affected have 4 children right before Christmas, and there's currently an investigation being done into the insurance money for the house. So currently, they are paying the mortgage on that property and also paying a mortgage on a house in Waterville that's only a 2-bedroom. So I am looking for permission to put a single wide on the property so that they have a place to live. They're currently drowning in bills, and I want to help them out. I want to bring them back to Winslow. They're currently living in Waterville, and like I said, they have 4 children. When I talked to the planning board, currently 87 Hayward Road's in mixed use, so there's no single wides available, or no single wides can go in there, but I could build a mobile home park. So there's just a little bit of a confusion there. I just want to temporarily put out a single wide there, allow them to live in it so that they can finalize their insurance investigation and rebuild on the property. I want them to be able to be on the land that they currently are paying for. So I spoke to the planning board about contract zoning. I did receive the letter from the lawyer, which we talked about last week, allowing them to have it not affect the investigation if I put a single wide out there. And I spoke to Adam about maybe putting a contract zoning in place. I have a home available at the end of the month, and I really want them to be in before Thanksgiving. So I want to start working on that, working on a contract with Adam, where I would essentially front the house if in 2 years they didn't rebuild. So it'd be a 2-year contract zone. And I would like to actually bring forward I guess it would be an order or something, in November. And I don't want it to have a second reading either. I want to be able to provide all of you with enough information so that in November we can vote, and I can also ask that it not have a second reading so that I can move quickly to set the house up for them so they can be in for Thanksgiving. I know it's a lot of information. Just word vomited a lot, yes.
So you looked into putting a single wide there and the zoning doesn't allow it?
Correct. It's mixed use, so I can't put a single wide in there, but I could build a mobile home park if I wanted to, so.
Put double wide in?
No, I can't put I can't put a mobile home in there at all. There's a mobile home down the road, and the whole thing about changing the image of the neighborhood, there's a very, very, very long driveway. You can't actually even see the burnt house from the road. And I've already brought in the gravel, dug the well line, dug the plumbing, done some stuff there to move the single wide in very quickly. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do.
I guess I'm confused as to why a single wide wouldn't be allowed in a mixed-use zone.
I'm not looking to change the entire
but I mean-
district. I'm not even looking to change like their lot. They just want to live there. I want to provide a home for them
I
for
would
2
have no
years.
objections to a contract for 2 years if that's what you want.
Yeah, and what Gary and Adam spoke about during the meeting, and you can chime in or interrupt me. Contract zoning is made for this exact purpose. I'm not looking to change the entire district, like I said, or even change the law. It's a temporary fix for them to bring them back to their house.
So there'd be a time limit, and then?
2 years.
After 2 years, they would have to
Correct.
remove the trailer
Yes.
after 2 years?
Yes, mobile home.
Mobile home,
Yes.
sorry. Ooh.
Also, Adam, I didn't do the work on the property, so I don't get fined for that, okay?
Go ahead.
I didn't do it.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, she explained it very well. That's the issue at hand right now. I guess my question would be, and same with the other discussion about the contract zone, who writes the contract? I mean, I did help the town write that one. I think it was vetted by our legal team at one way or another. It should be pretty simple, and it is a way to move forward and help a hurting family in Winslow.
Question. Could we bring that up at the special meeting that we're gonna have anyway? Have it on the,
Oh.
that moves it up another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I already have the letter. I can provide you with any information that you need. I don't know who's gonna write the contract, but I mean, I can have all that information for you.
Yeah, what, is that anything you're willing to
Yeah.
delve into tonight?
You would have 2 weeks, Bill.
All right. We're talking about an amendment to the zoning ordinance. That's what a contract zone is.
It would require a public hearing.
You know, there's a process that has to be followed if you're going to amend the zoning ordinance. And a contract zone is an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Since this is the first time hearing of it, that's something you and I can have a discussion about. Adam, okay?
Sure.
Well, okay, if possible, if we can get it on the special meeting docket, would be a little better, I think, for you and them.
Okay. Well, let's try to get it then on the next, for the special reading.
Yeah,
if
the
we
planning
can.
board
Run
didn't
with it.
have any issues with it. I wasn't on the agenda, I just kind of like
And,
showed up and was kind of doing what I'm doing right now, so.
The planning board could make a recommendation. They're not required to make a recommendation. This is a little different. It seems a little bit more straightforward. You can choose to get a actual request from the planning board, or you can move forward without it. But I would ask that some clarification be made that should I be writing a contract, and as well as with the other zoning change discussion, because they're both zoning changes and they're both contract zoning, so I mean, it could be something to show you and you can all read it, and I could do both of them. I'd certainly going to work with Bill prior to that.
Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
We're gonna have a public hearing already at that meeting in 2 weeks, right? Would that include a public hearing with the other zoning changes that we're talking about over on Lee Street?
It could,
So we're already gonna have to schedule a public, not only a special meeting, but a public hearing. So it wouldn't be that much more to have the 2 public hearings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pressure anybody, the home is gonna be available at the end of October. I already am picking it up and bringing it back to the property, my property. I just want to be able to get in there as quickly as I can before ground freezes and we have to do all the piping and everything like that, you know, before getting a permit. After getting a permit, sorry, yeah.
Okay. Anybody got any further questions?
Or are we gonna have Adam drop you've done one already, contract zoning,
It would be
so,
formed similar to that one.
yeah, and I can provide the
And,
information.
I'll work with Bill.
Okay.
That's what you guys want me to do.
Yep.
So does that need a public hearing?
Yes. And the other question would be, does it need a second reading? Which, I don't know if you can waive it on a zoning change or not.
I think we have before.
I think you
I'm not
probably
sure.
have before.
Maybe you could have your public hearing,
Have the public hearing on the 27th when we have the other thing and then,
second reading.
Well, there was,
Wait a
this is a little different situation, yes, but there was questions as to making a decision on the date of a public hearing. That was a problem in the past.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I was wondering, have the public hearing in the 27th when you have your other ones, and have the second reading in November. And get,
Or have the first reading in November and then waive the second reading.
either way.
Excuse me, I think we should have the first reading in 2 weeks.
Okay.
We already got a meeting coming up, we already got a public hearing. If the attorney and the code enforcement officer can have the contract ready in 2 weeks. Let's do it then. Then we decide at that public hearing, if there's no objections and everything seems kosher, we just will have, we could suspend the second reading, and if we don't want to, it's only another 2 weeks, and you'll be able to.
Right.
Okay.
So that
How
would,
many abutters? What's only the 2 or 3?
Yeah. One is a,
big parcels in that area.
yeah.
CMP in the back.
There's
Yeah,
no-
CMP's on the back. They have CMP
can't
lines
see
running in the back,
how-
yeah.
where-
CMP's one of them.
Right.
no,
Well, I'm just saying, well, we gotta notify the abutters.
Yeah.
they probably want to be notified though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The
I
mystery
would,
house.
it's not something that's required in our ordinance per se, but it has been the history that the council would like the abutters notified.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Any other discussion on Hayward Road? Grandview permit?
I brought that up because I had a request to close off the end of Grandview, where the Hammerhead is, to have a private birthday party at the end of this month. And in light of the way we've been canceling most activities, even though this is not, it's town property, it's a street, it's a dead-end street, I was gonna deny the permit because they're gonna put up a tent, they're having a band coming in, they're gonna have a fair amount of people. I just wanted the council to be aware of which way I was leaning, unless you guys, I mean, we've canceled everything else right now. We've canceled stuff in this room here, we've canceled other stuff. I was going to deny them the permit. Since it is, I mean, if they wanna go have it out in the field in the
It's
private.
a birthday party?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it'll be kinda cold then, but they bring up a tent in the band, it's people I think that own the proper pig or.
I think that decision's up to you and Amanda to make. And
Yeah, well, I mean,
Whatever.
it's a town street, so it's kinda, I guess it's on me, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of that if you hear about it, that's,
I mean, if we couldn't have a concert, then,
well, that's where I was
Yeah.
going, and that's why I,
Okay. Any
Check
other-
with the public works director, see what he thinks.
yeah,
what's that?
check with the public works director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see him tonight when I go home.
Yeah.
If no further discussion, campaign signs?
That was brought up, I think, from a little bit about my fiasco last week. I thought someone was gonna be here tonight about some of the campaign signs I had pulled on town property, and we've put some of them back, and Bill and I had discussions of what we should and shouldn't do, and there was an article in the paper, and I believe everybody's all set.
So we're allowed to touch campaign signs?
The ones on town property, we have a right, I have a right to pull them.
Town manager is on town property.
Right, okay. Okay.
But I got carried away. I took out the ones on Monument Park, which, in my opinion, they shouldn't be there. It's a memorial,
Okay.
but those are allowed back. But the town office isn't, and library, public works.
Go ahead, Steve.
It would probably make sense to review our policy. I don't think we have a policy.
We should have an ordinance.
And we probably should have a policy, even if it just says they're allowed on town property, one way or the other, so that there's no more confusion in the future. And I know from experience that Fairfield has a very restrictive policy on where the signs can go, and they enforce it. And they don't want them on public property and parks, and et cetera, so.
So currently they're not allowed on public property?
No. Correct. Not the ones on, like, the building here.
Right.
Because we want to make sure that it doesn't look like the town's endorsing anybody.
Correct. Yep.
That's the whole reason.
One of the questions is you gotta be 250 feet from the polling place. But there's nothing out there that shows where that 250 feet is.
Yeah, and that's.
Measure it out.
That's something that I think the town should purchase some signs, that pole signs, like some places have.
Generally, the candidates are responsible for that. They take a tape measure out, and they measure 255 feet, put their sign in. That's how it usually works.
And the candidates are responsible for not putting their signs on public property, correct?
But I think if we had an ordinance, like Steve said, that listed all the ones that they can't have, then come campaign season.
Then we can find them.
Why don't we get the Fairfield ordinance and just kind of put it in the next package so we can look at it? And then we can discuss it at the next meeting again, second
Plenty of
discussion
time.
period.
You have plenty of time because there's not going to be another campaign
Right.
until next
Right.
spring,
Yeah.
primaries.
One of the things is there's two types of public property. One of them is the highway right-of-way, the streets right-of-way, and the other one would be lots out there,
Yeah.
such as this one.
Yep.
So,
I'll reach out to Michelle and see if I can get a
Yeah,
copy.
can see, and, yeah, I know there's two different, so.
So it's public property, then it doesn't matter what type of public property it's on, right?
could be.
But you can delineate it in a thing. You can say no memorial parks,
Right.
No signs allowed on memorial,
How many signs did you pull?
I don't know, it doesn't.
Oh.
Bill has, oh.
Sure. I mean, the town, through the town manager or the council, if the council wished, has the ability to regulate and is responsible for regulating the use of town property. You can say in this, like Monument Park, you could, if you wish, say there'll be no signs allowed there. It's a monument park. We're not going to allow that. Or you could say we are going to allow signs. You just can't start regulating the content of those signs. They're either allowed or they're not allowed. And you may have, and it's not like there has to be one rule for all town property. There are town properties that you might decide it's very appropriate to have them sort of be a public bulletin board. There are other town properties that you might decide, no, we don't want any signs there. I just use Monument Park, even though it's been used in the past. You might decide, no, it's just to be, it has a particular purpose, and that purpose is not having signs all over the place. You could have for example, you could have a public park that's like a playground. Well, you don't want a bunch of signs on that park because kids are playing on it. If you have signs there, then it interferes with the ability of the real purpose of the park. The town's got a lot of flexibility. It's just got to be yes or no. You can't start deciding we like this type of sign, but not that type of sign. And of course, while you only think of political signs, recognize that people have viewpoints that they might decide they want to start expressing. So you have to keep that in mind as well. That's all.
So you could land up with, we have to watch out on how we would word it, because it could infringe on freedom of speech.
Right. If you are going to infringe, you infringe on all speech.
That's what I did.
Right.
Any other further questions? I think we're going to get the ordinance from the town of Fairfield, and then we'll look into it, and maybe any others I can investigate.
Yeah.
Or you can, or Erica can in the future.
Yeah, just a question. Does Waterville have one?
No.
No, it does not. It seems to be an understanding of where signs are allowed. There's that the intersection of Front Street and Main Street, right there by the Spring Street connector. For years, it's understood you can put all the signs you want there. If you're at Castongway Square, which has various uses, there are no signs there. There's Veterans Park. By and large, everybody recognizes, no, you don't put signs there. But that just seems to be understood. There is no ordinance or rule in place regarding it. It just seems to be that people follow what I just described.
Thank you. Well, we can take a look at some ordinances and investigate, and then we can take a look at it. Executive session.
You want me to make a motion?
Yep.
Make a motion to enter into an executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA subsection 4056A personnel matters.
Second. So move. We'll take 5 minutes.